Hello, my name is John Rose. I have been challenged to show my salad, so here it is. These are the ingredients that I'm going to use to make my salad. Right here we've got about exactly 24 ounces of romaine lettuce. On the other end we have 20 ounces of green leaf lettuce. The kale, I haven't destemmed it yet. There'll probably be 4 to 6 ounces. Tomatoes, 20 ounces. These two small avocados will be about 8 ounces. This is a 10-ounce apple, and I won't use the core, and I'll probably use only half of that lime. And I'm going to go ahead and show you how I manhandle this salad to make a man salad. And we're going to start with the kale, so I'm going to move these guys off to the side and the kale to the side and bring in my salad bowl. And now what we do with the kale is we want to shake it off and then just take the stem off. And I guess I need to move that up a little bit. There we go. Now, it's normally best not to shred things up too much, too quickly, or too soon before you eat, because it does begin to oxidize. And I always start with a kale, because it takes the most effort to clean up, and I can't really tell what I'm going to use until I take the stems out. Everything else I can weigh prior to this, because I still document everything I eat. I've been doing that for quite some time now, just so I can always use it to look back for my research. Okay, let's take a quick break. You see that right here? That was that one bunch of kale. I'm going to go weigh this real quick just because I'm curious. Do I have 4 ounces or 6 ounces? You can see what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing it and ripping it apart. But what I'm going to do real quickly, so I can document this, is take it out real quick and go weigh it. Alrighty, that was on the 6-ounce side, so that's 6 ounces of kale that I'll be using. And the romaine lettuce and green leaf lettuce are quite a bit all by themselves. Those are pretty good size. So I just kind of grab this and tear it apart. Now what you can do once you tear this apart like this is you can take some Celtic sea salt and massage it into this, and it will just dissolve into practically nothing. It's like it cooks it right there before your eyes. So you can see what's happened. I took those 6 ounces of kale that looked like a whole lot. I'm ripping it apart with my hands, and you can see it's practically nothing. So salads may look big initially, but if you can grab it and squish it all down into a fistful, you notice it's not all that much. So here's the beginning of my salad right there. 6 ounces of kale. Now to this I'm going to add the romaine lettuce and the green leaf lettuce. So let's start with the romaine lettuce, and what I do is I just grab it at the end and rip it off. And then just rip it apart like this with my hands. I really don't like to use knives and utensils. Alright, so that's I might actually speed this up. First time I try that as an editing function on my videos. Alright, mix all that up together. And we're getting it going here. So there's some kale and some green leaf lettuce. Now to this we'll add some romaine lettuce. And we'll do the same thing to that romaine that we did to the green leaf. Tear off the last end of it. Now what we have here with these three different types of lettuce is different textures. The romaine lettuce is really quite crispy and it's almost hard and firm. Green leaf lettuce a lot more tender, softer. The kale is actually pretty firm too. And this is a pretty good size head of romaine lettuce. When you get one that weighs 24 ounces, you got a good size one. I'm doing this on my dining room floor because my kitchen is really small. And I can do this in my kitchen, I just can't bring the camera in to show you what it looks like. So, here we go. We got the makings of over 3 pounds of greens right here. Between the romaine and the green leaf lettuce, we have 3 pounds right there. And then we add the kale into it, so we've got a lot of greens going in here. What we're going to do to that, so we're going to add something to the greens, which is bitter. We're going to add to the bitter something sweet, like the apple, and something sour, like the lime, something salty, like the salt, some fat avocados, and some non-sweet fruit, some tomatoes. Now let's see what's going to be the easiest way to do this. I guess what I can do is go ahead and cut into the apples and the tomatoes. And here we go. Leave the apples to the last here. Let's take the tomatoes. Now do not do this at home. I've been doing this quite some time, and I've got a pretty good touch for it. Most people would end up cutting themselves if they did this, so do not do this at home. For me, I like to make things as quick as possible, so I do all my tomatoes by hand, and if it's big enough, I'll slice it into thirds this way. Go as close to the end as I can, and twice this way. And again, if you never want to try this by yourself, or if you've never done this before, chances are you probably cut yourself, especially when you're coming across. But if you've done this thousands of times, you perfect the skill and you get pretty good at knowing how far to go. So these are considered non-sweet fruits, but they do kind of add a little bit of sweetness and saltness to it. They're one of the few foods that have sodium in it, like celery. And if you put all your numbers into a calculator to see what nutrients you're getting, you'll notice that darn, that sodium is pretty low. Don't get much sodium in fruits and vegetables, but you sure do in tomatoes and celery. So as you see, we're getting some color going here. Okay. Once again, do not try this if you've never done it before. It's real easy to go too far. But after you've done it for 40 years or so, or 20 years, you get pretty good at it. Okay, so now we've got some tomatoes and avocado. Let's see what we do with the apple here. Alright, the apple. I'm not worried about the seeds. The seeds do have cyanide in them, but the apple has rhodonase in it, so it counteracts the poisons that are in the apple seeds. But if you take the apple seeds by themselves, you get a heavy dose of medicine. But we don't need a heavy dose of medicine, we just need to correct the mistakes. So sure, Laetrile works. There are a lot of things we can do to make the body stronger. But the best thing to do is just quit making mistakes. So this will be the sweet part of this combination of a salad. The Fuji apple. Boy, what a great apple. We'll put the avocado on after this and then squeeze some lime juice on it. And now we'll have all the flavors we need. There's 4 flavors we always need to mix in with our salad. The salad base are the greens, and that's the bitter. And then we can add any type of fruit as long as the greens we're using are leafy greens and celery and tomatoes, things like that, avocado. Alright. Now with the avocados, these are pretty ripe, so I hope there's some good stuff in here. Hope they're not overly ripe. They'll work. That one, a little overripe. So we'll have to spoon those out. This is not a good time of year for avocados, unfortunately, as is indicated by the price of them and the condition of them. But if they're only bad on a couple sections, they're easy to work around. Alright, I love avocados. Don't be afraid of fat, my friends. Be afraid of the fire. Now, this probably would have been 8 ounces worth of avocado had this been 100% good, but we had to cut a little bit out, so that's probably about 7.5 ounces of avocado. And I've done this enough times to pretty much know right where it's at. But we don't need to be anal about this. Alright. There it is in the stages in now. I normally don't use apples, and it sure does add an interesting color to it. So now let's add a little spice to it. So we'll start with a little Himalaya salt right there. That's quite a bit, but that's a big salad. And then the very last thing we do is we add the lime juice. Here we go. Now this will probably take a good hour to eat. And it's funny how people complain, oh, it takes too long to eat. What, you're complaining about eating? I'm a little confused. I thought you liked to eat. So if you like to eat, learn to eat the right food so you'll be around longer and you'll actually be able to eat more foods. Now this is the beginning of my salad. And I do believe that's all I need to do except stir it up. Whether I should even attempt that now is questionable. I don't think I am. That's what it's going to look like right now. And hopefully in about an hour it's going to be gone. So here it is, folks. It's a man-sized salad. Vegetable Police, you want to see what my salads look like? There it is, my buddy. And that's going to be a pretty heavy salad right there. So this is right at a 5.5 pound salad. Now this is a man salad right here. And it'll take me a good hour to eat it. And as I mentioned before, when you eat a salad this yummy, you're in for a treat.